Hi everyone, welcome to TwoTwins in EVE, your weekly update for EVE Online stuff. I am your host, delonewolf. Last week we saw a devblog in which CCP announced that CCP Zulu was going to step down as senior producer and that CCP Unifex will take his place. We'll have to see what this change in management will do to the game. While a senior producer is of course a very important role, it's not the defining role for EVE Online, so I'm not worried in any way about this change. Another interesting piece of information from that devblog is that all active subs on December 31st will be flown into space with a special balloon during FanFest. So everyone will have a small picture of their character and the name of that character flown into space as a thank you to the players. I also read a nice column on mmorpg.com about the current war in 0.0. Sounds like a lot of stuff is getting destroyed there, so maybe some economic opportunities are looming on the horizon. There are also several rumors that Hulkageddon 5 is going to come early next year, so personally I'm already stocking up a bit on some of the minerals that I mine, and I'm keeping a good eye on the Hulk market at the moment. Let's hope we can make some nice profit from Hulkageddon and the current war in 0.0. Which leads me to the second devblog from last week. It's the devblog on the price indices from November 2011. As you may know, this is the kind of stuff that really interests me. The economic functions in EVE Online and in other games is, I think, a very interesting aspect of gaming. So let's quickly go over the things that I noticed most in this devblog. First of all, the PI prices. They've been rising due to the higher production costs, and there were two specific jumps. First was the announcement of the POCOs, the player-owned customs offices. So people speculated that the prices for PI stuff would rise due to this change. And the second one was with the launch of Crucible. Obviously that's the unexpectedly large tax hike that the CCP decided to implement on the Concord POCOs. Planetary interaction is of course a large part of the production of post fuels, but the other one is ice mining, and there were some numbers on the consequences of the ice interdiction by the goons. For instance, blue ice rose by 152%, oxygen isotopes by 124%, and trade volumes decreased respectively by 80 and 22%. So there was definitely a large impact on the market, but the question still remains if it's the interdiction itself or the speculation that that caused this. It was also noted that it's likely a lot of POS owners switched to different types of towers in order to get around this ice interdiction and the rising prices there. So this could have kept things in check, if that's what you want to call a 152% rise. Next are some numbers on the Plex. These were up 13% from October to November, after rising 7.9% the month before. However, from November 28th to December the 1st, there was a drop by 10% in Plex prices. The reason given in the devblog is that the supply of Plex after Crucible rose, and that burst the bubble in the rising Plex prices. Finally, in the general numbers, I noticed that the mineral index was up even more than inflation. That is still pretty high at 13.5%. But for a miner like me, this is pretty good, and I have noticed indeed that despite the big rise in plexes, the amount of time that I have to mine in order to get the money together to buy a plex is not going up that quickly. But I do believe that we will see a new floor for plex prices that is a lot higher than what it was in the previous years, and that unless CCP decides to go for inflation, which is extremely unlikely, we'll never see lower prices again. Just to give you guys an idea, at an inflation of 13.5%, the floor for Plexus can very well have gone from 360 to 400 million ISK in just the last year. So the prices at the moment are very high, but not abnormally high if you keep in mind that inflation is not really under control by CCP at the moment. And finally, just a few days ago, I discovered Johnny Pugh's channel. If I'm not mistaken, he has been subbed to me for quite some time, but for some reason I must have missed his channel. But if you haven't yet, I highly recommend you check it out, because he has been putting out some great exploration videos, and I really like the stuff he does. So anyways, that's it for this week, and I'll see you all next time.